Hey, ladies, dating in your 50s? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, this one's just for you.
Geez, thanks.
And this is Chick to Chick. This podcast is very special. This podcast is for my friend. Her name is Flora Pastorero.
Geez, thanks, Carrie Perry.
Yeah, so here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
I want to find you someone, darn it, and I want you to have a man who deserves you and you deserve him. And so I really felt like I had to call upon some major resources. I had to go dig deep and get someone who's there for you.
I'm not much of a basket case.
You call it whatever you want. But I just think a girl could use a little help. And I'm your wing girl right here. I want to help you.
I need a lot of help. Yeah. And ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Dating in your 50s. It feels like a game. Remember that game, the dating game?
Look, I just remember dating 1,000 years ago. And it just is not fun.
It's not fun. It's a lot of work. What's the secret? How do you navigate all of this? Well, as Carrie said, we had to call in the reinforcements here.
Absolutely.
Big time. We called in Jane Garapick. She is our guest today. She is a national relationship coach and has a website, gettingtotruelove.com. Jane, thank you so much for being here. And can you help a girl out, Jane?
Thank you, Jane.
Can you help a girl
Jane.
out?
I can more than help you out, and I echo Carrie's sentiments. I want you to find a good guy.
I do too.
Good one. Good. Okay. All right.
Why is dating so difficult in your 50s? Why?
Okay. So the biggest reason why it is so complicated is that you have had all these years to establish everything that you know about men and all the stereotypes, all of your real life experience, all of everything. I mean, it's not like you're starting out. It's a whole different thing. When you're dating in your 20s, even in your 30s, you don't have this history. You don't have all the stuff that you're bringing with you about what you're expecting men to do and what you know about yourself and all the bad advice you've taken and that you've gotten that you and all the everything that has built up to this point where you can commiserate with a whole bunch of other women saying, it is so hard dating. This is awful, right? I mean, it's just, you've got your whole cheerleading squad of other women backing you up. This is hard. This isn't easy. And it's different. I mean, the reality is it is different in a lot of ways. So that's the main reason why, is because it is different and you bring with you all of this stuff that reinforces how different it is, and you feel absolutely lost. And what you've been doing isn't working, and you don't know what to try. And there is and there's advice everywhere, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Google something. Google your question that you just asked me. How many different answers are you going to get? And how are you going to know what to believe? So you're going to feel even more lost, and you're going to give up. I mean, it's a wonder that anyone who's now in their 50s is even dating, is even trying.
It's exhausting. You know what really bugs me too? Have we lost our manners? What's with this whole ghosting thing?
Yeah, I don't get it.
You know what?
I get it when they're
like me,
right?
And you don't want to see me again. Just say it. Just say it.
Yeah.
What's with this whole ghosting thing?
All right. So you've uncovered the biggest point I want to speak to, which is men are far more insecure. They are not the men that we put them up on a pedestal, believing that they are, and we look up to them and we have this idea of them. They're not that. The reason why they ghost is because they're scared. They don't like the direct communication. They don't want to. It's uncomfortable. If you can remember one thing, men do what work for them in the moment, at the time. And most of what men are doing is trying to avoid feeling bad. If you can just remember that, you've covered everything. Men do not want to feel bad. I mean, none of us want to feel bad, but especially men don't want to feel bad because they have, for one thing.
So they're cowards. Is that what you're telling me? They're cowards?
They don't know how to use their emotions effectively to communicate.
Yes, that. Because if you say that they're cowards, that makes them feel shame.
Oh, we don't say it to them.
Yeah, we're just talking here.
I'm just telling her.
Exactly.
I'm not going to tell a guy he's a coward. We're just having a girlfriend talk here.
There's a lot of women who will tell the guy that he's a coward. So between us, okay?
Between us, okay.
Just between us, okay? They are cowards, but it's deeper than that because it's subconscious. They don't know it. They would never think of themselves as cowards. They just don't want to feel bad. And I don't think we understand the extent that they don't want to feel bad. So they don't want to have those direct communication conversations if they're going to feel bad. The only thing worse than feeling bad is feeling shame. And they have been brought up not to feel anything at all. So what you have to understand is that these men don't want to feel. They just want it easy. They want it to be just straightforward. They want it what they can understand practically. They don't want to feel bad. And so if they have to ghost because that allows them to escape feeling bad, they're going to do it. They're not going to be thinking ahead. They're not going to be thinking about you. They're not, but it's not because they don't care. It's because they care more about feeling bad.
Wow.
Got it.
Okay, so I want to help my girl out here.
Help me out.
You say that there are 5 things that women need to know. And the first one is you talk about men are not that complicated.
Right. Hang on. I dropped my notes.
It must be a book.
Men are not that complicated. They sure seem complicated.
They're not that complicated. Okay. So it goes back to what I said earlier. Everything is subconscious. Okay. So this is the thing. They are not that complicated when you understand that everything is subconscious. They have no clue what they're doing. They have no clue. Like even though all the ones we label narcissists, even all the ones who ghost, even all the stuff, they have no idea what they're doing. They're literally, and this really is the point that I started on, is that everything they do is simple. They don't want to feel bad. And the very worst thing is they don't want to feel anything that isn't what they are supposed to be or what they're supposed to feel. Anything more. So when I say they're not complicated, they don't do what we do with all the thinking and the talking and the calling up our girlfriends and even this. They don't do any of this.
No, they don't.
Like you? Is she interested? Yeah, ask her out, dude. I mean, they're not going past the basics. They don't have these. They don't.
They don't have all of this stuff that we have going on.
None of it.
Number 2, you say not all men are afraid of commitment.
Exactly. So you have to focus on finding the ones who are not afraid of commitment. Don't get stuck. This is where the baggage comes in. 50 years, right? And every story we've ever heard from our girlfriends, because I mean, they're in there. It's not just our stories. It's every story our girlfriends have ever told us. So this is the problem. All of that together just reinforces all men are afraid of a commitment. And what do we carry with us? All men are afraid of commitment. All of them. I get this question on my coaching calls. I get this, like every new person who I meet, every new woman says to me, Jane, why are they all afraid of commitment? And as long as that is perpetuating the thoughts, it's like that's what you're going to find. So you have to shift that the men you've met and the stories that you've heard are all about men who are afraid of commitment. You're not even looking at that pool. That is like, that's not yours. You're not even going close to that. You have to have the mindset that there are men out there, because there are. I can guarantee you they are, but it's hard to believe that when that's all you've seen. But you have to change your mindset that those ones are not yours. They were never meant to be yours. You're not going to be looking for them. They're not going to be looking for you. You have to have a certain level of belief that you're going to find something different. And who you're going to find are the ones who are actually looking for the same thing you are.
So this ties us into there are good guys out there. Listen,
where?
There are good guys out there.
Where?
Okay. So I got to tell you, you got to drop the checklist. You have to drop the checklist. I'm going to give you a real quick story.
Yes, you
I'm going to
can.
sum this up in a super quick story, okay? So I coach some men as well, some really good men. Only the really good, not the players. They don't come to me. I get some really good men in here, okay? And there is a guy right now who's in his 50s, and he can't find the good women. And you know why? Because they all have these checklists. They have these long profiles where they list out everything about them. They sound perfect. And I read these and I'm like, oh, they're perfect. And he sends out a nice little note. And it's really nice. And everything's like, if they can just give him a chance, they're going to be like the perfect match. And this happens so much. And this guy would treat you like a queen. This guy is like set. He's like financially stable. He's all these things.
Give him my number, Jane.
I think she's trying to set you up right now. I see that. Hold on, I'm going to get a paper.
Yeah.
So you're saying we need to be a little bit more open-minded and not so set in our ways. I think that's what you're saying. Okay, here's point number 4. And we're all waiting to hear this. Men like women who do this. Jane, what is this?
You have to like yourself for real. And I hate this one because it's a cliche. And you're going to hear that and you're going to think, oh, I know that. But the difference is that it has to be for real. If you do not like yourself, like the real you, like the actual person that you are, not who you've learned you're supposed to be, there is no way that any guy is going to like you. There is no way. He's going to like the idea of you, but he's not going to like the real you. So your biggest challenge, your biggest work, and it's totally doable, and I've seen this happen all the time, is to stop being who you think you're supposed to be to get a guy. And this is especially something we do in our 50s. You've got to stop doing that, and you've got to figure out who that little girl is when she was 9 years old. Who did she know she was? Because I'll tell you, in your 50s, you are so much closer to that 9-year-old girl than you will ever be to the woman who you have trained yourself to be, because some guy thinks that you should be that way, and you've heeded the messages of society and our culture that tells you that that is who you're supposed to be. Go back to who you were at 9. You're so much closer than her. That's it.
Gosh, I'm so inspired. I'm married, but I'm so inspired.
Hey, you can't have that dude.
No, I don't.
She's talking about, you cannot have him.
Dude. He is your dude. Okay, the number 5 in the last one is men are more insecure than you think.
Yes. They are always trying to avoid their feelings. They are always, even the most in-touch guy, okay? And I know. I mean, I married a really, really in-touch guy compared to most men, okay? There's still, this is so programmed. This is beyond biological. This is beyond gender. This is literally, they are programmed socially, culturally to not feel feelings. So if you can remember that, take him down off that pedestal. Get him off there. This guy is not, yes, he is not even the player. I mean, and don't get me started. The players.
Yeah, don't get me started with players either. Don't even get me started.
And we don't want you to ever meet, no more players. No more, Flora. Done with players. Okay, done. But if you can just remember, they are so insecure. They're like little boys. I can't tell you how many times I have to readjust the thinking of a woman who's come to me, and everything can be summed up in everything you're doing wrong is because you're treating him like a grown man. There is a little boy underneath there. He is in so many ways that boy whose growth got stunted wherever that emotional trauma happened. And I mean, that's a whole other subject. But suffice it to say, he is not the guy that you're making him out in your mind to be, the one who you're putting on the pedestal. He is so insecure.
We just have to remember all of this. Jane, this was so fun. This was great information, great advice. If any of our viewers want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to get in touch with you to get more relationship advice?
Yeah. Okay. You can go to either gettingtotruelove.com or janegarapick.com. Either one gets you to the same place. And you can download, I've got this guide on what you need to do to get the kind of guy that I'm talking about. So go on there. You can also check out my YouTube channel, my videos. I am as passionate on there as I am on here, and you'll get the message from there. But sign up for something. You got to take action. It's one thing to hear this, to read this, to talk about it. You got to take action.
You got to do it.
You got to do it.
Okay, I got it.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, my God.
Oh, thank you both.
Thank you. This was great. This is great. So you got to remember, ladies, men are not that complicated.
No, they're not.
And they're insecure.
Right.
Just remember that.
Do you remember that?
I did. It's just ingrained in my brain now.
Awesome. We hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Like us here on Facebook and YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Chick to Chick USA.